Welcome. Have you ever just looked at a towering tree or honestly even a little potted plant sitting on your desk and wondered what's actually happening inside? Today, we are taking a deep dive explainer into the hidden architecture of flowering plants. Now, I want you to stop thinking of a plant as just static greenery. Instead, think of it as a bustling, continuously growing city. I'm talking highways, active construction zones, heavy-duty plumbing, and intricate food delivery networks all operating flawlessly in the dark. It's a literal masterpiece of natural engineering, and today we're going straight to the blueprint. All right, here is our roadmap for today. Number 1, plant anatomy basics. 2, the dividing meristem tissues. 3, simple permanent tissues. 4, xylem, the water highway. And finally, number 5, phloem, the food network. Section 1, plant anatomy basics, seeing the invisible. So to really get where we're going, we first have to separate two key concepts, morphology and anatomy. Morphology is just the external stuff. It's noting that a leaf is green, maybe oval-shaped, and has those little veiny patterns. Anatomy, on the other hand, means we've got to peek under the hood. To uncover the hidden cellular machinery, things like the epidermis, the mesophyll, or vascular bundles, we essentially have to cut the plant open and get it under a microscope. And when we look inside, we're immediately dealing with tissues. But listen, a tissue isn't just some random hodgepodge of cells. By definition, it's a group of cells with a strictly common origin that usually performs a common function. They are a highly specialized team. And what's really wild is that in complex tissues, these team members can be completely different shapes and sizes, yet they still work together flawlessly. Section 2, the dividing meristem tissues, the city builders. Okay, so in our plant city, these active 24/7 construction zones literally never sleep. It chronologically kicks off when a tiny seed germinates underground, instantly shooting off in two exact opposite directions. The radicle pushes downward. Easy way to remember, R for radical, R for root system. Meanwhile, the plumule pushes upward to form the shoot system. But you've got to wonder, how do they actually keep growing longer?
Well, they do it thanks to apical meristems. These are densely packed, superactive cells located at the very tips of the roots and the shoots, and they divide continuously. To really picture this, imagine you want to grow taller, right? And to do that, you just continuously shove new bricks underneath your feet. As you add more bricks, you get pushed higher and higher into the air. That is exactly what the shoot apical meristem does to push the plants up, and what the root apical meristem does to push it deeper into the earth.
But wait, what happens when the top gets cut off? Enter the intercalary meristems. These are basically hidden growth zones left behind between mature tissues as the plant grows up. And this explains something we see literally every day. Have you ever wondered why grass just bounces right back so fast after you mow the lawn? Or, after a cow chews off the top? The shoot apical meristem is totally gone, but those intercalary meristems left behind in the middle just kick into overdrive, rapidly dividing to regenerate the whole plant. Moving on to Section 3, simple permanent tissues, the structural bricks. Eventually, those continuously dividing builder cells have to settle down. And when they do, they form three main types of permanent tissues: parenchyma, collenchyma, and sclerenchyma. The contrast between them is honestly pretty stark. Parenchyma and collenchyma, they're living tissues, but sclerenchyma is actually dead at maturity. Parenchyma has these nice thin walls, collenchyma has thickened corners for flexible support, and sclerenchyma just goes all in, with incredibly thick, woody walls for rigid, dead mechanical strength. Let's zoom in on a couple of these. First up is parenchyma. This is by far the most abundant tissue in the plant, and you can easily remember its job using the S3 trick. It's a living triple threat, responsible for synthesis, meaning it actually makes food through photosynthesis, storage, keeping food and water tucked away for later, and secretion, releasing all sorts of essential materials the plant needs to survive. Now, on the complete opposite end of the spectrum is sclerenchyma, specifically a type of cell called sclerids. This is dead mechanical tissue. Its one and only job is to be incredibly tough. So where do we actually encounter this in our daily lives? Just think of the mnemonic GPS: guava, pear, and sapota. When you take a bite of a pear and you feel that slightly gritty texture, yeah, you are chewing on sclerids. You also find them in tea leaves, in the hard shells of nuts like ground nuts, and in these super tough seed coats of legumes. It is quite literally nature's armor. So we've got our structural bricks firmly in place, but that brings us to a massive, mind-boggling logistical problem. Think about a towering redwood tree for a second. How on earth does a massive plant pump water all the way from the deep soil upwards against gravity to reach leaves hundreds of feet in the air, and do it all without a mechanical heart. That brings us to Section 4, xylem, the water highway.
This heavy-duty plumbing system is a complex tissue made of a totally mixed team of cells. You've got tracheids, which are tapered tubes, vessels, which are wide, straight pipes, xylem parenchyma for living storage, and xylem fibers for dead support. Notice anything crazy there? 3 of those 4 components are entirely dead. Water transport relies on hollowed-out corpses. And those vessels, the highly efficient straight pipes, are actually a high-tech feature completely exclusive to flowering plants.
Now, figuring out how this xylem is arranged can get a little tricky, but we have 2 brilliant memory tricks for early xylem development. First is study, ST for stem, and D for the end arch condition, meaning that first formed xylem is on the inside. Second is RX, like a medical prescription, R for root, and X for the X-arch condition, where the first formed xylem develops on the outside. Pretty clever, right? And our final section, number 5, phloem, the food network. Just like the xylem, the phloem is also made of 4 components. We have sieve tubes, companion cells, phloem parenchyma, which, by the way, stores sticky things like resin, mucilage, and latex, and phloem fibers. A genuinely cool fact here is that phloem fibers are incredibly thick and strong. We actually harvest them commercially. If you've ever bought a rugged jute bag or maybe some heavy hemp rope, you are literally buying the dead phloem fibers of a plant. But what is truly incredible here is the teamwork between the sieve tubes and the companion cells. The sieve tube is the actual pipe carrying the food, but get this, it lacks a nucleus. It has no brain of its own. Because of that, it relies completely on its neighbor, the companion cell. The companion cell acts as the brain, commanding the sieve tube, maintaining all the pressure, and deciding exactly which direction the food needs to flow today. It's the ultimate partnership between brain and brawn. And that flow direction is honestly the absolute perfect way to contrast our 2 massive highways. Just look at their final behavior. Xylem is strictly unidirectional. Water only ever travels in one direction, up from the roots to the leaves. But phloem? Phloem is bidirectional. The leaves make the food, sure, but sometimes the roots need it, sometimes growing shoots need it, and sometimes, like during autumn when leaves fall off, the stored food in the roots actually has to travel back up to the branches. Food just travels wherever the plant city needs it most. So we've gone all the way from a single germinating seed to apical meristems building out the structure, permanent tissues locking it together, and microscopic xylem and phloem rushing water and food up and down. The next time you walk past a tree or even a simple houseplant, I really want you to ask yourself, are you just seeing a piece of greenery, or are you witnessing an absolute masterclass in hydraulic engineering and cellular logistics? Nature's hidden architecture is buzzing all around us. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep your curiosity growing.